Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to talk to you about three things in this video. The first one is Hizbullah's sophistication when it comes to Israel and how it's destroying Israel's air defense capabilities when it comes to the Iron Dome. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the latest resistance updates from Gaza. And the third thing is the recent clash that Benjamin Netanyahu had with the German foreign minister in a recent visit that she had in Israel. I'm going to start off with Hizbullah. So Hizbullah, they got us used to having very sophisticated attacks against Israel. UAVs, missiles, their production, everything is very sophisticated. However, the recent attack that they had against the surveillance command unit in an area called the Arab al-Aramsha in the Western Galilee proved to be a new step with Hezbollah's sophistication when it comes to Israel. So they used two relatively new methods and weapons when it comes to their recent attacks on Israel. One of the most recent missiles they used is one called Almas 3. This is a guided missile which includes a camera, and they targeted a radar with it, with everything evident from the video that the actual missile published. It's the first time they used this specific missile during the last escalation they had ever since the 8th of October and them entering the Battle of Al-Aqsa Flood. The second one, and the more sophisticated one, is a UAV that they used to attack the surveillance command unit in the Western Galilee, where all of the command unit fell casualties. 6 of them are in a very bad condition and 19 were wounded in total. People initially thought this was a Shahid drone that was manufactured in Iran. And this is true, however, Hezbollah clearly made some modifications to it. Number one, they attacked a radar system that belongs to Israel's Iron Dome. So they're having these invasions, these air invasions with missiles and UAVs and drones to Israel without Israel noticing. And this is how they are so effective in targeting these locations. Obviously, when they destroy the radar, they completely get rid of the functionality of the whole system and the battery cannot be deployed. When it comes to this specific unit, they clearly also had intelligence. Hezbollah's intelligence and information that they have on Israel is very sophisticated, very specific. That's why they can target them exactly where they are, in many cases without any civilian casualties. Hezbollah's attacks on Israel are very much focused on people working with the IDF or intelligence services or anything that is being used against them. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is Gaza. So in Gaza, there was a slight de-escalation. It's still ongoing. The genocide is still ongoing. Israel is still targeting civilians. In many parts, still a catastrophe. However, there has been a reduction. I elaborated on that in a video that I posted yesterday. And my assumption that there is a semi-ceasefire going on, not a full ceasefire, primarily for the sake of Israel and their image. Really, because they made several steps in the last 2 weeks to take the tone down, get aid in, allow people to the north. They released some prisoners, and they withdrew, obviously, their massive fighting brigade Division 98 from Gaza and kept only a couple of hundreds troops in Gaza alongside limited special operations, what they call special operations, where we always have civilian casualties. So Al-Qassam brigades, they targeted an Israeli bulldozer, and we also had Saraya al-Quds, the armed wing of the PIJ. They had a very harsh mortar shelling on the occupying forces in the Netzarim area, which is the area that splits North Gaza from South Gaza, clearly highlighting that they're not pleased with any presence of Israel in Gaza. And whether or not this latest de-escalation to an extent is related to the negotiations. Hamas is still sending the messages alongside the Palestinian resistance that they're not happy with any presence in Gaza and that any ceasefire negotiation will have to reach all of Israel's forces withdrawing from Gaza. Which leads me to the third thing that I want to talk to you about. So Germany has been one of those countries that supports Israel massively despite their genocide in Gaza. They've been criticized heavily. There's even a case taken against them in the ICJ by Nicaragua in them supporting Israel and Israel's genocide in Gaza. Clearly, it's putting a bit of pressure on them. You've had the German foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock. She visited Israel. This was denied, by the way, by Germany officially. However, Israeli Channel 13 reported this, and usually with anything that comes with fights or clashes or shouting matches or swear words in meetings, usually you'll have some leaks to the media and they're published to the people eventually. What did that report say? Netanyahu obviously started by giving the typical Zio Wood propaganda presentation to her, similarly to what they do with many journalists around the world. Zio Wood production, they bring them in. Oh, look, we're victims and we Gazans are great and we're not doing anything, we're just targeting Hamas. The typical. She actually challenged him. So she started saying the children in Gaza are starving and Israel is pushing for a famine in Gaza. That's the German foreign minister, okay? The big ally that's petrified of even saying one word against Israel. Netanyahu didn't like that. He immediately started saying, oh, go look at the Gaza beaches. People are swimming and they're having fun. As if people can't try and have some sort of fun, right? And the markets are full and, you know, what you're saying is unsubstantiated. And then she started citing German doctors and doctors in Gaza. She told Benjamin Netanyahu, so what are you saying? My doctors are lying then? Are they lying to me? Apparently, this was the moment where Netanyahu had a complete outburst on this woman. He started shouting, we are not Nazis. We don't do what the Nazis did. And all of you, of what you're getting is a lie. And alongside other things that he started saying, challenging her and what she's telling him. It's as if, firstly, number one, this woman, what, are you surprised? They've been committing a genocide. Well, firstly, you just woke up now after you have the ICJ case against you. The genocide has been going on for over 6 months now, over half a year. Secondly, don't you know the person you're enabling? That's number one. When it comes to these European countries and the US supporting this genocidal satanic death cult, which proves that they're like them, really, and they only get worried when it's about to hit hard home. They have an ICJ case, they don't want to get in trouble. Secondly, this highlights the mentality of Israel and Israeli leaders, and not just Benjamin Netanyahu. This entitlement. We can do whatever we want and we can lie, and if you don't believe our lies, then you have a problem. Psychopathic lunatic maniacs that happen to be in power and are given impunity to commit a genocide against the Palestinian people. These are the people that you're talking about. And it's not just Benjamin Netanyahu, it's mainstream in Israel. Israel has been like that traditionally, all across its history, ever since its establishment. A supremacist regime violently controlling the indigenous people, expelling them, and implementing a regime of supremacy and inequality against the Palestinian people. There's nothing new here, but it just highlights the mentality of Israel that people should understand. Obviously, you have some of the leaders probably get it to an extent, but the people should understand this mentality. And I quoted an analyst the other day in one of the Israeli channels when they were talking about the need of Israel to produce and manufacture its own weapons after it started being used as leverage against them, primarily from the US. Not to say that they still support them, but the US is using it as leverage to push for its own agenda with Israel that is not exactly in line with what Benjamin Netanyahu wants. This man was saying, and he is one of the figures in the Israeli military-industrial complex, he said this war proved how much we need to produce our weapons all across the boards, and we shouldn't rely on the Goyim. The Goyim is a reference to the others, very derogatory as well. The others who should serve us. This is the mentality that Israel treats its Western counterparts with, that support it, by the way, almost unconditionally. And this is what people need to understand, and the people need to wake up to the fact that regardless of how much this genocidal satanic death cult is supported, they will never have enough. And these were the main things that I want to talk to you about in this video, and I will see you soon in the next video. Take care.